How's everybody doing? I'm gonna go with like a 1080p window here. Uh, mm, 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 mm. Oh, 11 minutes ago, I'll rerun that. Heath Phillips, supported on Patreon, so thank you very much, Heath. You're awesome. Hello Stein, how you doing? Hello Apsid, and hello Ish. How are you guys doing this, well, 14th of February. It's no other day than that. Went into our kitchen and started cooking just as I was serving, realised my flatmate and her boyfriend were eating and what day it is. Lol. Welcome to the Valentine's Love Fest. Nice. Just interrupting whatever the flip they were doing with awkwardness. Nice. Classic. The delay's actually not looking too bad on YouTube for once. That's surprising. But it's your flat too. Yeah, but still weird, innit? I'll let you moderate that one, Ish. So how Jesus, how is everybody doing then? What have you guys been up to and all that? What have I been up to? RTX laptops, actually. That's been my week. That and going on bike rides. They could have booked the kitchen if they wanted it. Oh. Hello, Chris. How you doing? They only have to ask. Yeah. Anyway, besides, oh Jesus, Hish. Besides awkward interactions in kitchens, how's everybody doing? I was playing CS:GO and just got an ace. Nice. Join the Andy's Lonely No Love Corner. Lol. What's my phone doing? Alive tanks. Nice. Oh, it's literally just 4 notifications. Yeah. So I've been playing with RTX 2060 and a 2080 Max-Q laptop. I'm kind of surprised to say that the very thin RTX 2080 Max-Q laptop was, in some cases, slower than the RTX 2060 laptop. It's not something that I have currently covered yet, and sadly the RTX 2080 Max-Q laptop has already actually gone back. So because I've been thinking about doing a bit of a video explaining what the hell Max-Q is and what it actually means, but sadly since that one's already gone back, I can't. I'm hoping to get an RTX 2070 Max-Q laptop in, which means that I can then give you a very good comparison between the 2060 full fat and the 2070 Max-Q. The main thing though is that all of the laptops, basically no matter what GPU they have in them nowadays anyway, because they can be so finely tuned to their power limit, they can really display however much performance you want them to. If you've got one of the like MSI that thick ones or Asus that thick ones, then you can generally have them perform kinda, you know, insane like full fat versions of the desktop versions. Maybe slightly slower, but with the thinner laptops like the Zephyrus S that I'm looking at, the GX 531, which is the you know, it's like that thick. That is, even though it's a 2080 Max-Q, it, as I said, in some cases performs like a 2060, but one's $3,000 and one's 1,500. So you get, you know, basically the same performance, but for, you know, half the price. Admittedly with a bit nicer build quality, but the same jet engine noise, so... Isn't max Q when rocket reaches maximum thrust or something? I think that's Vmax, but close enough. Max Q is short for you spent all this money, here's some recognition so you feel better about it. I know, right? Gonna tilt this down a wee bit. Whoa, crazy. I'm not really sure. JCBLSX, you've got a i7 2700 and a GTX 960. It's good enough. Fair play, man. Are you gaming at 1080p? I would guess. Hello, Colin. How you doing? Stein, definitely. So Andy, when are you getting that Radeon 7? Whenever I get given one, because Jesus. They're probably, like, as far as I'm aware, there aren't that many. There's certainly not that many samples. I doubt that add-in board partners will have that many. And if any at all, because I'm pretty sure that it took something in the order of like 6 months to 9 months for any of the AIBs to get any Vega or RX Vega 64s. So yeah. Ish. Mac TX is right. TI is titanium. But yeah, I mean, I'd quite like to try one. Maybe in a few months, just to see what the performance is like with newer drivers. But of course, as we mentioned last week, the Radeon 7 is just the MI50 Instinct card with a bit higher clock speeds, basically. So yeah. Chris, what for? Stein, you're not wrong. Hello, Kev, and hello, you, Mark 1 golf fanatic. Where's TI? Nice, hello. I have 6 PCs and 1 keyboard. Nice, why? And why'd you have 6 PCs? Jeez. But yeah, as I was saying, that's the Radeon 7. I said, besides driver improvements, until the way that game engines handle memory bandwidth, I don't think that you're going to see a significant difference or a significant reason to pick one up. Sure, in certain computation workloads, it's faster than even a 2080 Ti in certain very specific workloads. But you know, if you're buying a Radeon 7 for computation, then go buy an Instinct card, right? So yeah. Wes, thank you very much. One PC for every day in the week, and on Sunday we go to church. Oh. The link's blocked, but was looking to buy a £500 PC for Offspring. Nice. Let me check your link. Eh? If it pops up at all. Colin, are you on the Discord? If you drop it in the Discord, I can take a look there, but currently I cannot because YouTube is cropping the link. Pamicomp deal of the week. Okay. Hold on. I go to the home page, maybe. Deal of the week. It's probably really obvious and I'm not seeing it. If you're on the Discord, can you drop it there maybe? Or if anyone else who is on the Discord can find it for me, drop it there too. Hello Banter, how you doing? Praise to AMD. Mac TX, I take it Valentine's isn't a thing in the UK. It is. I'm just it's quite corporate, as with a lot of holidays nowadays. So. Also have PS2 keyboard, but the Dell motherboards do not have PS2 ports. Really? That's kind of strange. Doesn't affect the tech world's population too much anyway. True. Is that in tech support? There we go. Wes, what's your thoughts on inverted PC cases like the Corsair 600C? So if it works for your desk, then it's cool. It can be an interesting look. And well, let me double check the 600C so that I know which one I'm talking about, right? Okay, yeah, so it is literally just a inverted case. So yeah, I mean, again, it can be interesting. It's kind of weird that they've gone full inverted and put the power supply on the top, to be honest. I know that a lot of the cable runs are kind of designed so that you know, like the cable lengths are set a certain way, but it's again, if it works for your desk and all that sort of stuff, then that's cool. Personally, I would prefer it to be the other way around, just because that's what I'm used to, and it's you know, that's my experience. But yeah, it's all right if you fancy it. And the deal of the week: Ryzen RX 580, 500W, no operating system. That looks pretty good, man. I mean, the 240 gig SSD, if that's the only thing that's there, that's pretty small. And A320M means no overclocking at all, but then 8 gigs of RAM is fine. Again, 16 would be nice. Knowing that 2 drives fine, but I think it would be good if there was a hard drive in there. But again, it's up to you. Even though the 2 terabyte Seagate one that's listed might be a nice addition, but yeah, an RX 580 is a great shout. So yeah. My gaming 850 Evo sometimes disappears from Windows and I have to unplug it and plug it back in. So I'm not sure what you mean by gaming. I assume you mean Samsung. But either way, it's cool. That's strange that happens. And I'm not really sure. That's either. Okay, right. So you've it's a separate drive specifically for your games, right? So that's either a motherboard thing, a power thing, or the drive controller thing. Try changing the SATA ports. Try different SATA power ports, and then otherwise try, if you have another PC, try the SSD in a different PC. I did say you're better than a computer shopper mag and cheaper. Was that for Jura or who? Hello F7, how you doing? Kev, hello Dan, how you doing as well? Me, sweet. Yeah. Also on Discord, you were saying 1700 was, I didn't see the CPU options because 2600 is decent. If it's just for gaming, then the 2600's fine. And you're gonna lose some core speed there with the 1700. So unless you're willing to then also jump up to something like a B350 and then overclock it when it gets there, you're probably going to want to stick with the 2600. Although I'd still recommend putting a thingy board in it, but either way, there you go. Sometimes when I turn my PC, it's not there. The only way I can get back to plug it in, turn it, plug it, unplug it, and plug it again. I mean, fair play. I would still say try putting it in a different port on your motherboard, different SATA port, or swapping some drives around, seeing how that works, and then kind of go from there. Tinkering with 3160 GTX 1070? What? As in i3? I don't know if that's a thing. No, I don't, Ramen. Hello, Harry. How you doing? No worries. Ah, £160. That's an impressive figure. Was it an X mining card by any chance? Because that sounds dodgy. Fair play, Jiro. That's a pretty decent setup. If you did want to build it yourself, Colin. Weirdly, when I finally set up my 860 Evo, it didn't appear in the boot priority options. I got to work through it so fast. Never had an SSD boot drive before. It's great. As I think me and F7 were talking about last stream. I don't think I could live without a boot SSD anymore. I would expect not. I would expect it to be like 2060 competitor, but we won't know until it exists, and it doesn't exist yet. So yeah. GPU itself is sound. I have a couple of 90mm fans. Oh, the fans don't work. Nice. Fair play. Nice. Thoughts on using a Bulldozer 8-core as a workstation? It's going to be hot. I mean, they're capable enough chips. It depends what sort of workstation you're talking about. In terms of code compiling, that sort of thing, they were all right. And if it's the FX 81 series, like 8120 or 8150, they were okay for that. As long as you have adequate cooling on there, it should all be good. All systems, I do have an SSD in them for quite some time now. Normally a 250 gig, £40, but 500 gig are now below 60, so probably going to be buying them once I run out of my 250 gig ones. Fair play, man. I actually surprisingly have 120 gig SSDs in a number of different systems, mostly the ones that I don't use all that much. But in my current one, I've got a 1 terabyte SSD, but obviously I'm not purchasing these, so I want to get rid of all my spinning rusts on my PC. Fair play, man. I mean, they can be liabilities for sure. Yeah, they can be downpriced more and more. They are indeed. Kind of crazy. I was thinking about it the other day, but the first SSD I ever bought was an OCZ Vertex 4 for £120 for 120 gig. And that was that was cheap. Like, that was dirt cheap. And now you can buy 120 gig SSDs for like £20 to £30. It's kind of crazy. In fact, actually, I think you can get them for about £20, and then the 250 gigs or 240 gigs are that sort of £30-40 range, which is just crazy, really. My first SSD was 64 gig, barely fitted Windows as is. Yeah, I do remember those woes with small SSDs. My laptop still has a 60 gig SSD, runs fine. I think you don't have any programs installed though. 1 terabyte M.2 NVMe versus 1 terabyte SATA. It's mostly just performance, random reads. Obviously, 32 gig versus 6 gig interface, and saturating both of them. So, yeah, it's really form factor plus speed. But as a boot SSD, it doesn't really matter all that much. But yeah, generally recommend minimum of 250 gig unless gaming. Yeah, I would agree. Okay, history lesson. First, megabytes, 4 megs of RAM. I bought was 120 quid. Nice. That's oof. Yeah, this is a secondary storage. Then in that case, you probably just want the value, and going with the SATA one. Unless you really care for the packaging constraints. Yeah. It's hard when you see 250 gig M.2 for the same price as a 500 gig SSD and think for real life performance how much extra space you can get. Yeah, definitely. I mean the difference in speed that you'll see from a standard SATA SSD to M.2 is real world not all that significant. So yeah. Your mobile only has mSATA. Oof, that's not great. I had an Acer Swift 5 in, which again I should have. It's sitting directly above me. But that actually has two M.2 SSDs, M.2 SSD slots in it. Although they're only using a SATA M.2 SSD, which is really very strange in a like £800 laptop that's running an i5 8550U, which is pretty pathetic. So yeah, keep getting angry emails from PayPal to tell me to add funds because I owe them £17. Well, why are you? What was that? I don't have Streamlabs up. Subscription, thank you. Yeah, can you stop buying PCs, Chris? Oh dear. Anyone have an open WRT router suggestion for a good price? I actually don't remember that many routers that are open WRP compatible. Open WRT. Supported devices. I was hoping for a list of supported devices. There we go. So a lot of ASUS ones are OpenWRT. Even my ASUS one. Wait, no, where's the DSLs? Oh, so my one is not being compatible. What about the Netgear Orbeez? Netgear, I can't remember what the name is. Oh, NVMe gets you overall faster install times due to 1000 megabyte write speeds. I mean, you can get 3 gigabyte per second write speeds now with NVMe's. Game opening times are more or less unaffected once it's on your SSD. Yeah, true. Although install times for a lot of games often isn't that horrific anyway, even for hard drives. So, yeah, better IOPS. Yeah, definitely true. Again, depends what you're after. Isn't that an Archer C7? What are you? What are we talking about? Oh, I did. Yeah, swap to you. True. Kev, so Kev said, did you see Bitwit got a copyright strike, now has been removed for his Verge reaction video? I did actually. That was very surprising. I'm glad that YouTube has kind of fought it a bit. Yeah, so for anyone who didn't see it, basically, if you remember the Verge How to Build a Gaming PC video, where it was a guy who clearly knew nothing about building PCs and who, among many things, called zip ties tweezers, screwed the long screws all the way, or at least the B-roll showed him screwing the long screws all the way through a Corsair H100i radiator, installing or putting on way too much thermal paste, and I can't even remember like the just sheer number of idiocies that video pertained. But long story short, a lot of people, including Science Studio, Greg Salazar, and also Bitwit, so Kyle, they made reaction videos, right? So, you know, them sitting there watching the video with the video in like a little box or whatever, or them in a little box watching the video. Either way, them watching the video, pausing it to then like comment on how stupid or whatever else the point they wanted to make is. And at least in the USA, because the UK, the EU is very different for how it handles copyright, but at least in the US there is such a thing as the fair use doctrine, which essentially means there are a lot of reasons why it is okay for you to use other people's copyrighted material. So parody is explicitly confirmed like in the fair use doctrine as something that people should you know, it is protected by the copyright law, right? So they, The Verge copyright striked Bitwit's video for using, you know, stealing their video. Obviously, it's transformative in nature, but they striked it. He got a full strike on his channel, and that wasn't, you know, like, oh, we should, you know, whatever. That they have to go and claim the video manually, right? Even through the new YouTube dashboard, you still have to click on the video that you want to remove and then choose to remove it and choose to either give them 7 days to take it down or auto strike them and then put in all of your details and all that sort of stuff. So it's not a, oh, oops, I did the wrong one or whatever, right? You have to do that manually, and so they striked it, and then I think he tried to appeal it, but the YouTube's automated system didn't let him or something along those lines. And then when he reached out to YouTube, they then sent an email to The Verge saying, hey, why are you striking this video? To which the claim has now been released. But it's kind of crazy and quite worrying, especially considering that I think something like a day before, The Verge wrote an article about how YouTube's copyright system can be so easily abused, only for them to abuse it the next day. Oh, that was right. Dual channel RAM sticks in single channel. Said the power supply had to be placed on some rubber so it doesn't short. That's the ones. I mean, Harry, you're not wrong. The same as EU, USA. So technically, yes, but the fair use doctrine is not the same in the EU. It's a lot more on the copyright holders' side, kind of copyright friendly rather than creator thief friendly, if you like. It's the wording of it is a lot more specific and nailed down and quite narrow. Generally speaking, it's still not been kind of heavily abused, but it's the wording of the law is a lot more strict in the EU than it is in thingy. Because the EU peeps get bullied by the record companies. I mean, yes. Can I ask a random question? Will any external hard drive work on a PS4? I don't have a PS4, so I'm going to turn that over to the audience. Do you guys know the answer to that? I would assume so, but yeah. Whereas that won't solve that problem. It's of utmost importance you have a Swiss Army screwdriver. Yes, not a proper screwdriver, a Swiss Army one that'll make it extra hard for you to actually install anything. Probably, or sell your PS4 and get £300 towards a PC. Lol. Lee says yes. There you go. In theory, yes. I agree, sell the PS4. I know that basically any hard drive works with an Xbox. Yeah, in theory this should work. It's only really down to such and such the either Microsoft or Sony on what they want to support. But yeah, thanks guys, not flogging the PS4. Sorry. No worries, man. Enjoy. Friend of mine at uni tried to take his PS4 to CEX, watched them literally break it, then said, sorry, it's broken, we can't accept this. Lol. You're not wrong, Kev. Xbox is dead now, fans stopped working. Oh, that's not great. France is funny, they put copyright tax on all recordable CDs, flash drives, and then gave the money to large corporate agencies. I know, right? It's crazy, but yeah. Also, sorry, I've missed some Twitch chat here. No, I didn't see it. I mean, my takes are probably not that far off that one. OPS have user upgradable hard drive SSD. Nice. Nothing to see here. Move along. Yes, yes they do. Lee, it is quite cool. I turned the Xbox on for the first time in months and it just turned itself off. Nice. Hardly ever play my PS4. I know, because when you have a PC, it's just not all that. You don't, unless you really want to play the exclusives. I was at my friend Nath, who's a mod in the chat. I was at his over the weekend or whatever, and we're playing some console games, and there really aren't that many game types that are really much better on a controller that I can't also, like, you know, any shooting game, right? I don't, and anything that requires aiming with a joystick, I don't want to touch it. Racing games, again, okay, but there was like massive stuttering when loading in new parts of the world, and like just generally driving around in Forza Horizon 4. And even Forza Motorsport 7, that was just meh. And I've got a racing wheel, so yeah. The only game that I really enjoyed playing was Halo Wars 2, actually. But yeah. Great to hear a Scottish accent on YouTube. Represent. Nice. Spider-Man is pretty good, but that's about all I play. I played that again. It looked really, really cool, and then I played it, and I wasn't really all that fond of it personally. I'm sure that playing through the story would be alright, but it felt a little bit button mashy, and I felt a little bit kind of unrewarded by the web slinging and the swinging through the streets kind of thing. The physics didn't really work how physics works, and not even in a reasonable broken way, in a just kind of like, oh, that shouldn't happen. Oh, okay, right. But again, personal preference. No worries, Starman. Glad you made it. What do you think about Lodozer with its What do you think about the Lawdozer? Nice. Jesus. What do you think about the lawsuit about the Bulldozer with its mini core layout where it has 4 modules and 4 core assist cores? So the way that works, for those of you who don't know, is that the AMD Bulldozer architecture was, I think it had, if I remember rightly, it had 8 integer compute units, but then it only had 4 floating point compute units. I think I got that the right way around, but either way, it had, so generally speaking, before Bulldozer happened, the definition of a core is 1 floating point and 1 integer compute unit packaged together with some memory and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, so when it was launched, right, they said, oh no, it's an 8 core because it has 8 integer units. Now, technically speaking, they're not wrong. It can do 8 integer operations simultaneously, but because it only has 4 floating point computation units, that means that it can only do 4 floating point computations at any given moment, which to some people means that is not a full core. That is a core and a half, right? Or it's like a core with hyperthreading. So in certain workloads, that is not a full 8 core, right? Because in certain workloads that only do floating point compute or do a bit of floating point and a bit of integer, you're running on 4 threads for the floating point and 8 threads, or no, 8 threads for the floating point and 16 threads, but that's multiplexers for you. But either way, it'll be an interesting kind of thing to see, just generally because it'll be, it all comes down to the definition of a core. If you can say that a core is 1 floating point plus 1 integer, then AMD lose and they've got to pay out. But if it's a definition of, well, as long as it can do 8 of some type of computation, parallel, then it's fine. Then AMD won't, have to pay. But yeah. Would I notice from 1 to 4 millisecond response times playing at the weekends? No. Generally speaking, not. I mean, to give you an idea, the human response time is well over 100 milliseconds. So, and the variability. So I think the average response time is something like 200 milliseconds or so, or at least mine is somewhere between 150 and 200 milliseconds. But then, so you're adding 3 milliseconds to that. It's not really something you notice. The issue is that the 2 mini cores shared resources, which made it run like a hyper-threaded. Bulldozer is really like hyper-threaded SMT, but with row cores. Yeah, you're not wrong. The average median reaction time is 215. Okay, cool. Dan, so how do you think it would fare on a web development workload? I don't know enough about web development to really give you an idea of how, what type of if it's integer or floating point compute, but as I said, from my experience with them, because I had an AE or A120 for 5 years, it was fine. It did well. I compiled everything I wanted to compile, so it's not horrific. It's certainly not ideal, but if you already have it, which I assume you already do, then it should be all right. If you're going to buy, then that's a different question, and it depends how cheap you get that. A lot of stuff is floating point based. Yeah. Thanks. Looking to buy an Asus or Acer Ultrabook. fair play. They're both pretty good. Both of them have relatively decent quality control. They've had their issues in the past, but generally speaking, seem to be doing good. And I think generally speaking, if they're the same resolution and refresh rate and that sort of stuff, then generally speaking, it's they're using the same panel. So yeah, even if it was free, I would say. You really don't like it, do you, Lee? Might be upgrading my 3570, and I'm not sure if it's going to be an upgrade or not now. Probably not. If you were gonna upgrade, I would probably just upgrade on that same tree and get a 3770 or something like that, and that would be a good bit faster. Hello, Joe. How am I doing? I've been in a lot of pain today. I've been on a bike ride a day actually, which has been a lot of fun, learning a lot more. Yeah, it's I've been yeah, a lot of pain. Profix, so I'm about to build my first PC, but I'm wondering, does every power supply have every cable you need to power and use your PC, or are there some cables you have to buy? So it actually depends on so the power supply will always come with all of the cables that it can provide you, but if you have, say, a multi-GPU configuration, for example, that's often one that gets people caught out a bit. So if you have, say, 2 graphics cards, or if you have a graphics card that, say, needs 2 8-pins and a 6-pin, for example, right? Crazy high-end one. Some lower-end power supplies, like most 500-watt power supplies, only come with 2 6 and or 8-pin PCIe power connectors, so that you may be missing there. But generally speaking, unless you're going kind of crazy with the build that you're doing, you should be fine with most power supplies and the cables that come included with them. Are there any AMD motherboards with USB 3.1 Gen 2 connector? Yes. Is that one? Can't see from here. Let me. So it's going to be X470. I don't think there are any B450s with it. So I have a Gaming 7 Wi-Fi, which oh, my award's there. Nice. Does that one even have it? Yes. So the Gaming 7 Wi-Fi from GameBuy has one. Accessories, maybe? No. Chipset. Sunsocket AM4. Oh, the names are in the wrong place, right? Got ya. So the Aorus Pro doesn't have Aorus Pro Wi-Fi? Does have. That's not the one that I clicked on. Oh, that's because the thing's in the wrong place, right? Yeah, so I think at least on the gigabit side of things, you're looking at the X470 Gaming Pro. Oh. Indeed, so. Hi, Nath. How you doing? Has it? I haven't viewed a stream in a while. You've been working on anything interesting lately? Mostly the RTX laptops. I've had a 2080 Max-Q laptop in, as well as a 2060 non-Max-Q. So that's it's been interesting. Also, the main interesting thing is that it has yeah. The 2080 Max-Q was actually slower in some cases than the 2060. So yeah, That's a thing. Harvey, yes, that's fairly normal for the streams. Most of there are a large number of people who are subscribed who are not in the UK, and this time zone really, like the time that I stream is only for about an hour and generally only works for mostly UK people. Also Valentine's, and also not all that many people tune into streams on YouTube anyway. I mean, I'm on Twitch too, but I don't have a viewer base there. Are they still mega bulky? No, they're actually tiny. Tiny. Which is kind of crazy. And also the reason that they're not doing so great in terms of you know, performance for like the 2018 Max Q. What's Valentine's? I know, right? Something that people do sometimes. Just eating a load of Valentine's chocolate, feel sick now. Silly Kev. Mostly the chat function is nicer, got some smoother UI. Oh, that's cool. Fair play, fair play. They've actually, YouTube's just removed the ability to go back to the old dashboard, and even though they haven't even bothered to include live streaming, like update it for the new Creator Studio, you have to click a button to then put you into that one to then, and then it doesn't give you any of the old options or anything. They've completely removed it. It's now just you press a button to go back to our fancy new UI. Buy the chocolate in a few days when the supermarkets put all the discount on it. You know the ways. That's Valentine's. Does drinking bourbon count as Valentine's? Sure, buddy. Whatever works for you. Joe, to answer your question of thermal throttling, it's not normally the GPU that does much thermal throttling. It's normally packaged and set. The package is set to be a given time of the a given amount of power input to it, and then when it hits that power input, it's generally going to sit about sort of 70 to 80 degrees Celsius. It's normally the CPUs that are the worst. The RTX laptop, the video that I'm still in the process of editing, that is well, that hit 99 degrees Celsius on all cores. Quite hot. Actually, even it heat soaked through to, ironically, where the cooler boost, like the fan boost button is, and I measured it with my IR temperature gauge, and that was 60 degrees Celsius on the button that's you're meant to be able to press to cool the thing down. Come on. Nice one, Kev. Have you heard any more about the 1660 Ti yet? I've been told I'm getting mine from Zotac next week. It's £8 power, it's small card. Fair play. I haven't heard from Zotac about that yet, so I'm gonna go past the video. But fair play. I've also not had any brief from NVIDIA either, which if it was launching next week, I would expect to see. So we'll see. When Navi, really need airflow in my VRM. Under load, it's like 110 Celsius. I mean, I think that's kind of I think that's sort of rough operating temperature. I mean, it's certainly on the higher side. You would want that a little bit lower, but yeah, you're putting 200 watts through it. Ouch. It's a lot. Yeah, I mean, fan over it might be good. I've heard nothing at all. Mine's been sent for the Fractal Design Mod Contest, so I don't know a great deal until I get it. Okay, fair play. Fair play, man. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. We'll obviously, if I get a message or if I get a brief from NVIDIA, you won't know until the launch day because, yeah, I can't, break NDA, but we'll see. Good old Ivy Bridge E. Oh, X79? X58. No, X79. Right? Can't remember. 79, fair play. Actually, TS after this, Scottish man. See you there. Sure, man. Got some Apex. While I remember, by the way, everybody go check out Kev. He's ClickTech UK. He is an awesome patron. Thank you, Kev. He makes cool tech videos. And Kev, what videos have you been putting out this week? Or last week? Or whatever your last video is. You can click on his name in chat, by the way. Go give him a sub. And of course, thank you to all the patrons. You guys are awesome. You and all the people who use the Amazon affiliate links actually make it possible so that I can do this as my full-time job. So thanks, guys. And go check out Joe too. Last one was the XG242. Nice. Dan getting all sentimental about chips he's never owned. Thanks, Archranger. Chris, you're crazy. Have some money first. Working on a new Sahara case and fans next and changing my office around. Nice one. Busy, busy indeed. Well, it's not agreeing with you. Lee, it does indeed. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. I mean, Google takes 45%, but it's fine. Anything is appreciated, and you get a little message too. I've still got a giveaway going for the Mod Mic Wireless. Nice. If you want a chance for a free Mod Mic, then go check it out. I actually still have a comp running too. It ends in like a day or two, but I accidentally set it for like a month and a half. It's the BitPhoenix Endo Mesh case. If you want to win that, if you want a actually not too bad case anymore, there's a link for you. Andy put a notice saying donate to Patreon or something. Yeah, probably. I'm kind of lazy with the stream just because it's meant to be quite informal, and you know the notifications are cool just as a recognition, but the whole like pushing to do stuff is seems a bit out of place for the streams, but I'll have a think. I still need to make some new merch designs, man. But hey, I'm just an idiot and forget all these things. Nice one, Kevin. Nice one, Chris. Good luck. I need to go delete all the non-UK entries first when it does finish. Finishes in 3 days, so you can check it out if you fancy. Mod mic wireless could be great. It could have a mic for each side of my face. Nice. Quality. How? Oh. It's already entered in this and now it's asking again. Finally got a new chair. One that fits my fat ass. Gotta send it for review. Nice. What brand is it? Fair play, Colin. Fair play. Mine runs into the 28th. Cool. Wasn't logged in. Fair play. Lee i7 920 24 gig RAM, 500 gig SSD, 4 TB hard drive, 650 Ti to a 1800X 32 gig of RAM and 1 TB Toshiba NVMe SSD. Nice. Have you still got the 650 Ti in the new PC or like the Ryzen PC, or have you upgraded that at some point? Fortunately, yes. Fair play. Do you do much gaming, or is it more sort of, I don't know, productivity side of things? Thanks. Sandberg Commander gaming chair. Fair enough. I can't say that I've heard of it. You should actually, mostly because I'm friends with him, but Steve from Noble Chairs does sponsor videos with Lionheart, who's also a good friend, and Ragtag, who's a Scottish streamer. The videos that he does with Ragtag are quite funny. You should go check him out. He's 5UB, as in FIVEUB, on Twitter. And everywhere else, but if you go check him out there, he posted a clip of him sawing and ripping through the #1 bestseller gaming chair on Amazon that's listed as a steel frame that's actually just an MDF backing. So that's kind of funny. Fair play, Colin. I love the Ragtag work. Stabbing and cutting it up. I was crying. I know, right? And he's just started playing CSGO. What a man. Also wanted to say, regarding the stand and the Element Gaming monitor, it's much better if you get the screws lined up perfectly in the back. Yeah, I mean the problem that I had with it was that those little sort of outstandy nubs that go into the foot, or that are in the thing that then go into the back. Those didn't fit in the holes that were in the monitor. There were probably half a mil radius too big, so I had to literally crush them in. So yeah, I like my Noble chair, but not sure how large I can get in it. Fair play. I could have got away with getting a 4 to 7th gen used i7 system, really. i7 920 was having starting issues. Did you say you're more productivity, but do you play games here and there? Fair play, man. I mean, I hope the 800X is serving you well. I know that my 2700 is doing me well, so I can't say no. Having real 8 cores is very nice. Fair play, man. I need a new chair. No way I can afford a Noble at the moment, though. Very true. I mean, the Nitro Concepts, the S300, is very nice. It's basically the same chair, but with fabric instead of leather or pleather, and a basic tilt mech as opposed to a nice one. But overall, it's still pretty good. Still has the actual back adjustment and all that sort of stuff. Did I actually? No, it's not. There we go. Secret Labs chairs too. Fair play. I think they're quite expensive, right? Even 6 is noticeably better than the 4 of my 4770K. Fair play. Oh dear, Joe. It's not the right way around. Clocked at 3.92 gigahertz on all cores. Nice. I think I'm at 4 all cores. Yeah, 4 gigahertz all cores. On the 2700, but that's what the generational improvement gets you. 3.2 gigahertz quad. Wow. The Acer Swift laptop that I had was 0.8 for a lot of my usage of it. 4.7 squad. Fair play. .218 gigahertz quad. Thanks for being so specific. If I'm not overclocking, would I be better the 2600X or the 2600? If you're not overclocking, then yes. So generally, yeah. I can't remember what the price difference is, but yeah. When Ryzen brings out 3rd gen Zen 2, I consider Intel Ryzen optional again. There are 3 specific games, Factorio, KSP, and Oxygen not included, that perform far better on an Intel. Fair play, man. Chair, I'm at the moment, it's 30 years old, full leather, and so comfortable, reclined and feet up on the desk, £800 30 years ago. If you account for inflation, that's a lot of money. That's called a sofa. Are you going to review the 1080p 144Hz gaming monitor? I've not spoken to them much since my last review, but I hope so. There's actually a new guy there who's just moved from PC Specialist, so I'll hit him up. i5 9600K does everything I need to at the moment. Fair play, man. Doing the cheapest 480 gig SSD. £50 is probably about right. Yeah. Ouch, Starman. That's it's gotta suck. Sorry, man. Right, I think we shall call that an evening. Thank you guys for kicking about. It's always a blast. I will be back next week as usual, and yeah, hope you guys have a good week. Catch you later.